Blue Chaos. And right now here to set up for the Smash Bros. Roster on how I would set up Super Smash Bros. 6. Since Ultimate's doing so well, it does not look like they're just going to end it here. They're going to move on onto Smash 6, especially once they come out with something else outside the Switch. Probably around 2023, but they're definitely going to move on from the series. And from there, I would definitely recommend them to balance the game since the roster seems very bloated. And it would also help to keep some of the best of the older characters as far as gameplay and popularity wise, and just in general, open it up for some of the newer characters to go with. So I don't seem that Smash really wants to hit that large number of 100, at least not without balancing the game or giving some of these characters in there with too many echoes and clones out there. So I'm gonna start with I'm gonna go character by character, and essentially gonna tell if they are safe, if they will be an alternate costume in the future, if they're going to have a link to another character, or are they just simply put going to be cut and just out of the game, either replaced or done in by somebody else. As far as who is safe, I'm going to start off with Bayo. She's safe. Quite a bit of history from Smash 4. She comes from her own series of game, and although she seems kind of awkward, Smash seems to be a bit of a kid friendly game. Very cartoonish violence, and her game is definitely the very opposite of kid friendly. Definitely, Bayo fits. At least as far as her gameplay wise, she fits in pretty well with Smash. As far as her aesthetics, doesn't fit that well, but I would definitely say that Bayo would definitely stay in. As far as Bowser is concerned, Bowser is definitely going to stay in as well. We're talking about a guy who's probably the most famous villain of the entire Nintendo franchise. Bigger than Ganon, bigger than Diddy, and there's not many other villains outside of those, bigger than Ridley as well. You're definitely not taking out King Koopa. As far as his son, he has a different moveset from the rest of them. It's pretty interesting. It just is not worth it as a character. Bowser Jr. just does not fit. I mean, he would definitely be better off being used for a character that's new, somebody else that's there. It's nice having Bowser Jr. there, possibly an ultimate to say he had time with his dad, but at the end of the day, I just don't see it being worth it. Maybe you could add Bowser Jr. somehow in the move set or something as a minion, but simply put, Bowser Jr. does not deserve to be a character in Smash. As far as Captain Falcon, he's definitely staying. He might as well be called Captain Smash at this point because I don't think that anybody that's playing Smash now has played an F Zero game in 20 years. Just simply put, the F Zero franchise is dead, but Falcon has just simply put made his own name. You cut him, you're cutting out basically the Falcon Punch, which is the most recognizable move in the entire series. You also have one of the most recognizable taunts with Show Me Your Moves. Uh, I mean, at this point, you just look at this guy and you just don't even think of him much as a racer anymore. You just think of him straight up as a Smash fighter. He is probably the closest thing to a Smash original character that you can come up with, especially when his gameplay file fits Smash so well. And it's Chrome. You are now the second to be cut and the first of the Fire Emblem series, which he will not be the last to be cut to the Fire Emblem series. I'm just going to spoil that to you. Simply put, for Crom, yeah, he plays a lot like Roy. He, I mean, just simply put, I don't know if he's an echo fighter of Roy, but he's very close to Roy. And simply put, you have tons of Fire Emblem characters with swords. They don't really differ themselves quite a bit. You have tons of sword fighters in the game, and if I'm going to have sword fighters in the game, just at the end of the day, you need to make yourself seem to be a little bit more special than just Roy, no fire this time, maybe a little bit stronger. So Crom, you're getting out. Next, you have Cloud. Cloud is definitely staying. I have the opportunity, I would keep Cloud. His moveset's very good. Final Fantasy VII is only getting more and more famous. I mean, Cloud is, I would say he's the most recognizable Final Final Fantasy character in the entire series, and he he now just has a remake, so he still be relevant, especially from a game that's about 20 years old. And again, his moveset seems a little bit different. The Limit Gauge, he has magic attacks and magic boost up. So definitely Cloud, you're definitely staying. Corrin, you are out. Another Fire Emblem character. Your moveset here, it's not because of the fact that your moveset's vastly different. It's just the fact that I just don't see Fire Emblem being large enough to have as many characters as it does now. And unfortunately, Corrin, you are going to have to be cut. You're just not that popular as far as some of the other larger Fire Emblem characters. And simply put, your move set, although it is a little bit different from the others, it just doesn't separate itself from the other sword fighters that are also in the series. Daisy, you are an alternate costume. There's so much about Daisy that simply just goes through. She plays exactly like Peach, seems like Peach, um, does everything else pretty well. But as far as Daisy's concerned, Daisy to me just she's just an alternate costume. She's basically a clone. She has nothing really else different from Peach. I would love for Daisy to possibly get an overhaul, but she just has not been fleshed out enough where she can basically separate herself from Peach. So as far as Daisy, you're going to be an alternate costume. Sorry for the downgrade. These two, I'm not specifically sorry for the downgrade. I mean, who really is interested in either Dark Pit or Dark Samus? They're just dark clones of the character, and they don't really seem to bring that much to whatever series that they're in. I mean, while while Dark Pit seems to do a little bit more in a series than maybe Dark Samus, I barely heard of Dark Samus until until Smash showed up. But at the end of the day, neither of them really bring anything really else to the game in general. Their move sets are similar to the originals. So I'll just spoil this for you right now. Pit and Samus are clearly staying. They're going to be alternate costumes of these two, but yeah, there's just no reason for these two guys to be in the game. It's just they're alternate costumes of their original forms. Diddy Kong, you're in. Same thing with Donkey Kong. I mean, they both come from the same series, but they just play so different from each other. They're pretty well rounded, pretty well designed characters as well. Diddy deals more with weapons, while Donkey Kong deals more with just raw power and strength. So I definitely like the way that they're going there. As far as the Mii's, this is actually one of the more confusing characters. Um, Having all three of them in, giving them customizable, basically granting them customizable Mii's all around. It's either going to be between this and the Wii Fit trainer. Actually going to keep the Mii's in. Actually going to keep these custom fighters in. Give the opportunity for the average guy to basically make and create their own character. I'm not that crazy over them, but the customizability of these three Mii's to basically put you in Smash or whatever your friend is in Smash definitely seems well, and to give basically that alternate costume, because one of the major things about the Mii was giving your whole profile in the game. So I'm not a huge fan of the Mii's, but I could definitely see. I like how customizable they are. So definitely putting in Smash Six, or I would definitely place them in. As far as Mario is concerned, uh, I would think about it. I think he's just gonna be an alternate costume. The thing about Dr. Mario is his gameplay style is a little bit different than the original Mario. So no, you know what? I think I'm just gonna cut him. I mean, I would want to maybe do the same thing with the Dark Pit and Dark Samus treatment, but Dr. Mario's kind of separated himself from Mario, and the whole Mega Vitamins thing, he just seems to be a little different. I mean, maybe you could have Mario in a doctor suit and that would be it, but I just don't see of how you can replace, let's say, fireballs or something like that with, let's say, pellets. That's a little bit too much. That just wouldn't be Mario anymore. That would just be Dr. Mario at that point. As far as the Duck Hunt dog, you are staying. As far as one of the retro characters, you do bring something new to the table. I definitely know that you're not exactly very popular. You come from a ridiculously old game, but I see that you use the bird a little bit better than another character. But we'll go on a little bit later there. But definitely Duck Hunt Dog, your playstyle is vastly different from the rest of the cast. I would say if I'm going to bring in an older character, I think you'd be good enough to do it. Fox and Falco, I'm going to have you stay. Falco, maybe do a little bit of a overhaul of your moveset, maybe not make you that much of a Fox clone, but definitely have you stay. Definitely have you stay a bit. I think you're moving to get a little bit further away from Fox, but I would definitely have you around. I would basically place you as the number two of the Star Fox series, a little bit over Wolf, since I just don't think of Wolf as the main villain. I think of Andross as that guy. If anyone could tell me of when the last time Wolf was the big bad of the Star Fox series, not just a side bad, because I always just think of that as just Andross more than, let's say, Wolf. Uh, Speaking of big bads, gonna go with Ganondorf here. The big bad is Zelda. You're definitely staying. I don't see how you're not. I mean, you can go out there and say he's kind of like Captain Falcon. We could definitely overhaul some parts of that move set, which definitely do need to be overhauled. If you're not gonna, get rid of the Warlock Punch, it probably is better to at least get rid of that Demon's Heal, make him a little bit more into a sword fighter, possibly give him a magic sword or something. But there's just a lot you can do with Ganondorf there. But definitely an overhaul of the move set, or at least some a major part to get rid of, make him less like Captain Falcon, which they seem to be doing. In the later games since Brawl, better than when he was just a straight up Captain Falcon clone. I would definitely say that again is definitely staying. As far as Greninja, I'm gonna have to cut him. I know this is the most popular Pokemon. I do feel like another character can do that job a little bit better as far as that the stealth package goes. And Pokemon does need to drop a couple characters. I mean, I know the characters that people say the most, that Fire Emblem's being completely overrepresented. I agree, but let's not put Pokemon, let's not put Mario out of that loop. I mean, yes, those series are much more popular than Fire Emblem characters, but they are some crazy, crazy characters that both these series got away with. Um, Unbit is Ice Climbers. Ice Climbers is, well, just simply put, just too good of a move set. There's just nothing else that plays like them at the end of the day. It's just a team of two fighters. They don't switch in between each other. And just the idea of just two fighters and one just beating the hell out of you is just something I'm just not going to get rid of in the next Smash. So, Ice Climbers, you're staying. Gonna get rid of Ike. It's just a heavy sword fighter from Fire Emblem, and I would probably say that Ike is kind of one of the major reasons. Him, and I think what we're going to see a little bit later is just, you're a sword fighter that fights a little bit different from the other sword fighters. He's a bit of a heavy, but it's just not enough to separate you from the other 10 or 11 other sword fighters that are in the game. You play heavy. I know you're pretty popular in the Fire Emblem series. It's just, simply put, you're just not separating yourself from the other sword fighters in the Fire Emblem series by your gameplay. Popularity, you'd definitely be in for as far as the top 3 or 4 is concerned, but gameplay is definitely not there. As far as Incineroar, you are staying. I'm going to keep you safe. You seem to be a grappler, which, yes, I've never really seen that in Smash, like a counter grappler. Your gameplay style is a little different. I would definitely keep you around. Now, I would definitely like to maybe update the moveset a bit. Maybe move on. Maybe update the moveset a bit. maybe have it make it a little bit more sense. It's a little bit odd with that whole what I'm seeing is like a rage mechanic or something that I'm seeing, but I would definitely keep you around. Definitely with that grappler set. Seems like you're going for something different. Definitely keep the fire type over the water type here. That's maybe a little bit unpopular about keeping Cineroar here. Inkling, you're staying. Splatoon is extremely popular, and not just that, the gameplay style is something different. It's not very well the same. Isabelle, you are staying. Isabelle, I feel like you are the face of Animal Crossing now, and definitely I'd rather have characters more than avatars. Villager is pretty big. I mean, you can customize your villager, but I already kind of have that with the three Miis there. And I feel like the Wii and the Miis in general a little bit larger for Nintendo than and then Animal Crossing is. So let me get to Villager. So I'm just going to spoil it. He is cut. I'm cutting the Villager. I know Villager started the whole thing, but unfortunately, this is the first time in history where the main guy is basically getting overrun by their protege, which is Isabelle right here. Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff. I'm gonna have to cut a couple Pokemon characters, and unfortunately, you're gonna have to be cut. At the end of the day, when I think about my main Pokemon characters, I mean, you were a Joe character in the original Smash. You moved on to make a bit of history in Melee, but ever since Melee, you have not been relevant at all. The gameplay and the movesets, I mean, Rest is pretty big, but it's just, I mean, who's playing Jigglypuff in 2020 right now? And who really thinks of Jigglypuff as this mainline, mainstream Pokemon? It's just not there anymore. You know, when you compare Jigglypuff to Pokemon like Pikachu or Mewtwo or Charizard or even Lucario, you know, they're still relevant in 2020 long after their original version. But you get down to Jigglypuff, and Jigglypuff was maybe good for a cup of coffee during the anime series. That's the last time Jigglypuff was really relevant. It was a joke off the anime series back during the Pokemon boom of the early 90s, but it just does not fit nowadays. Kids are not screaming, you know, Jigglypuff and bringing people to sleep. That's an entire generation ago. And at this point, it's time for the Smash Bros. Series to move on, probably bring in somebody else. I mean, maybe possible if you'd want to bring it back as DLC, since I know that this one is, I think, probably the most controversial so far, but I cut and probably the most missed. But at the end of the day, I would have to get rid of Jigglypuff. Just the series would definitely need to move on from basically a old anime joke from the late 90s. Joker, you're staying. Definitely safe. Persona is a pretty massive series at this point. It's only getting bigger and bigger. Definitely would cut your Arson, but yeah, definitely keep Persona. Here we go. When it comes to the fighters, I am going to make Ken an alternate costume, which basically spoils and says that Ryu is in. Yeah, gonna keep Ryu. Ken will have his alternate costume since many of them are the same. I just don't feel like Street Fighter deserves to. Not specifically in Smash. There's many other fighting game, just many other fighting games, and I'm just not that large of a fan of seeing fighting games and well, at least other fighting game characters in Smash. But I'll give Ryu a bit of leeway there. He is massive to the video game industry in general, and he's a titan in the industry. He is, I would say, probably somewhere in the top five when it comes to the most important characters in video game history. So I'll give Ryu that pass, but Ken, you're a palette swap. You're not that big. As far as King DDD, you are in. Having a Kirby villain stay in, you definitely play pretty different, pretty massive, and pretty famous at this point. So definitely gonna keep you in. King K. Rool. As far as King K. Rool, I think you're nice, but I'm gonna get rid of you. I'm just not. I mean, your moveset is a bit different. Again, kind of like Jigglypuff, this one would probably hurt a little bit more. But simply put, I mean, when's the last time you appeared in a game? I know that a lot of people have been wanting you for years. I just don't know if you're as big as, let's say, Ridley or as large as, let's say, some of these other ones, since I don't remember the last game that you were even in. It's just been that long since you've been relevant. It's nice with a bloated cast, but you know, in a game where Doctor Mario and about six Fire Emblem characters are in, yeah, it's fine to have King K. Rool. But unfortunately, in a game where there's strict cuts, unfortunately, King K. Rool, you're just not going to make that cut. Kirby, you are in. Kirby definitely deserves it. It just fits so well with DDD right there. Um, you know, just the face of the Kirby franchise. You're not going to get rid of him. As far as Link in, don't see how Link is not in main character of the Zelda series, part of the Big 12. I mean, the Big 12 doesn't mean much. Look what I just did to Jigs. But Link, you're actually the main character of your own series, so I'm definitely keeping Link in. Little Mac is a fun character, and I'd love to see an overhaul, but you definitely got to be cut. Again, you got to get rid of it. You got to get rid of the fat. It's a bit sad. It's just having a character where you just immediately throw him off and he just dies. It just does not work. I mean, if Little Mac's going to come back, and I don't mind if Little Mac comes back, maybe bring him back to Smash 7 when Nintendo knows what to do when it comes to what he's going to do in a moveset. I mean, I feel like a grappler, like the way that they went with the grappler, kind of fits in, and the martial artist, but the boxer, he's just been terribly done. It's just a badly designed character, and he should not be back. As far as Lucario, I'm gonna take him out. Simply put, Lucario is too much like a character I feel like should stay in, is a bit more popular, and that's Mewtwo. Two Mega Evolutions do not lie. Mewtwo is the most popular legendary in Pokemon, no doubt. And, these two have very similar move sets, pretty close styles. I know Lucario has separated himself a little bit from Mewtwo, but you just give Mewtwo some of Lucario's better moves and just work with that. But I definitely do feel like he'd be better off with going with Mewtwo rather than Lucario. Just the score for me is 2-1 as far as Mega Evolutions. And there's a reason why Mewtwo was so requested just to come back after Gen 4. So, I mean, not after Gen 4 when Smash 4 came out. So, definitely go with Mewtwo. As far as Lucas, he is cut. I mean, I think a lot of people have grown attached to Lucas ever since Brawl, but just simply put, Lucas should not be here. And it seems a little bit odd in the case of Lucas, where he seems to be in, at least ever since he's been introduced, he's going to have a little bit of a curse where he's going to be in every odd Smash game, but out of every even one. He was in Smash 3, he was out of Smash 4, in Smash 5, and out of Smash 6. Lucas, you are out. Again, maybe you'll be back in Smash 7, but I just feel as though as if you're going to cut some characters, it'd definitely be Lucas. He plays a lot like Ness, and Ness can just take some of his better moves. And speaking of that, Ness, you are in. You were part of that originals, and seeing of how you keep on surviving, but your moveset is vastly different from the others. And the only thing I see that's kind of different between Lucas and Ness is just maybe one or two moves. PK Freeze is a big one. Maybe give that one to Ness somehow. But yes, I would definitely say that I would have Ness in. Lucina, you are gone. It's getting very easy to cut the Fire Emblem characters. Another Fire Emblem swordsman that plays very well the same, and they're not that large, at least that large or that famous. Mario and Luigi, they're staying in. You could go out there and call Luigi a clone. He's a little bit, but he's definitely separated himself from Mario ever since the original games. He's not going to basically act and do everything the same way exactly as Mario. He's more famous. I mean, you want to cut out Luigi. Let me ask you this. If you want to cut Luigi, name me 10 characters that are more well known in any of this than Luigi is. Tell me 10 characters in this list that's more popular than Luigi. I would gladly get rid of them. I don't think you're going to find that. I mean, you might say, like, oh, Pac Man, but Pac Man's more historically relevant. You may say Sonic, you know, Sonic. I don't think any of these other guys are more well known than Luigi is. Pikachu might be, but simply put, I mean, just he's that big to at least to all of video gaming history. He is the player two in video gaming history. It just does not fit the Bros title to take out Luigi. He's definitely staying in. Marth, you are in. Now, out of all the Fire Emblem characters that I would keep, Marth is definitely the one that's staying in. He is the main face. When you think of Fire Emblem, that's the first one. Whenever they talk about another Fire Emblem character go in, they call it another Marth clone. He is basically all these people's bosses in a sense. So definitely Marth I would keep into the next game. Into Mega Man, definitely keeping Mega Man. You got a lot of things you can do with him, even with a moveset overhaul. He's made from his own series, a third party, and kind of fits that whole Smash development very, very well. Meta Knight definitely stay in as well. It kind of came down between Meta Knight and DDD of which series should be represented a little bit more, and I went with the Kirby series over the Donkey Kong series. I feel like Meta Knight is a little bit more for the series rather than just adding in King K. Rool, and I feel like his moveset has kind of evolved a little bit more than K. Rool's has. You already have a couple heavies. As far as Game and Watch, this is one that's going to be a little bit sad, but he is out. The thing about Game and Watch is I could see him being replaced by Paper Mario in the future, and that kind of takes away his whole 2D stick. I mean, Paper Mario, you could say it's just another Mario character, but seriously, what is a Game and Watch? Well, when's the last time anyone has played Game and Watch or anything with Game and Watch at all? Again, I mean, he can go and join. He can go and join. Unfortunately, it's another character on the list. I'm not going to spoil it yet, but where most of the players have just not played a single one of his games in their entire lifetime since the end of the day. I mean, I would say that the last Game & Watch game is about as old as the Super Nintendo, and I don't think most of the Smash fan base was even alive when the Super Nintendo came out. As far as Olimar, you're definitely staying. Pikmin is it's not a franchise that ever got to me, but your moveset's a little bit different. Maybe possibly show of which Pikmin is in front, so possibly an overhaul with it since his fights seem to be on the boring side, at least from what I hear, and kind of on the annoying side. But as far as you're concerned, you would definitely stay. Pac-Man, you're staying. You talk about video gaming icons. I know young kids probably aren't going to care that much for the arcade versions of Pac-Man, but he was the Mario of his day. I mean, you could not go without seeing a Pac-Man or a Mrs. Pac-Man in the arcades back in the 80s. He's extremely massive, and I would still say, like, as much as Game & Watch, you would say that he's a retro character. Game & Watch is not a gaming icon like Pac-Man. I mean, you going out there and say, as far as Mario is concerned, without Mario, you'd say about 95% of the cast ain't even here today. And you'd probably have Pac-Man and Game & Watch, and at the end of the day, Pac-Man would still be there and still be a famous gaming icon. In fact, when it comes down to it, Pac-Man is probably top 3, top 5 most important characters in video gaming history. So, Pac-Man, you're definitely staying in. Palutena, you're in. Mainly the waifu of Kid Icarus. You're definitely staying in. Your advice is one of the biggest ones that are there. So Palatina, you are staying. I know Kid Icarus isn't that popular, but you would definitely. I'm definitely keeping you in. Your moveset's a little bit different from some of the other princesses, and it's not overbearing of one series. I think we can deal with another Kid Icarus rep. Peach, you're in. I mean, I would say you are the most famous female in all of video gaming. I want to see if you can name another one that's more famous than Peach. Maybe Chun Li. I don't think Samus is. I don't think Samus is more famous or more popular than Peach is. I think Peach is the most popular. The only person I can think of is honestly Chun Li that maybe outranks Peach just historically. You're not getting rid of Peach. I don't think anyone was thinking that Peach was ever going to get cut. Pichu, you are cut. You play just like Pikachu. There's no real reason to be there. Your entire gimmick is a Thunderbolt hurt yourself. You seem to have gotten a little bit more. You're more of a combo character, but at the end of the day, I don't see some of the aspects to not just be brought in into Pikachu, who is getting in. For the five people that were actually hyped about Piranha Plant when he came out, I'm sorry, but he is gone. There is just no real reason for him to be there. This is the part where it's like, yes, you are the main series, Mario. It's called Super Smash Bros. For a reason, since, yeah, most of y'all wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for this guy and this guy, mostly this guy, Mario. But at the end of the day, it's just Piranha Plant, really? I mean, we allow Piranha Plant to get in. You're going to have Goomba next, Paratroopa, maybe King Boo. You're going to bring in, like, Toadette as a character. It's just it's getting a little bit too much. Get your mains in Mario, but there's other franchises that need some love too. Just bring them in for Piranha Plant. That's just insane, and I just don't understand for why was anyone asking for Piranha Plant? Just next in Smash Seven, we'll get the Goomba. Just waiting for that at this rate. But yeah, I'm designing the game. I'm gonna cut the Mario franchise at about five at the max, and that's about it. As far as Pokemon Trainer goes, I'm keeping the trainer. It's looking kind of Gen 1 specific outside of Incineroar. Give Incineroar another shot. I know Green Ninja is a little bit more popular, but Incineroar to me, I feel has a better move set, something that can work with. But Pokemon Trainer, it's just something that you just don't see a lot. You have the mascot, you have the trainer, you have the legendary, and I guess you got one for the new. I like that series as far as Pokemon is concerned. That yeah, it just kind of fits well. I do like that. I just thought about that mascot, trainer, legendary, and something new for the kids. The new whippersnappers that are now into getting into Gen 6, or I think we're in Gen 8 Pokemon now. So next you got Castlevania, and we are turning Richter into an alternate costume. Simon, you are going to stay. Simply put, Simon, you're the main of the Castlevania series. Richter, more the sidekick. I think I see more you online than Simon, but the thing is, Simon's the main of Castlevania. I'm going to stick with him. It's an old retro series, and it's kind of another bashing on Game and Watches. There's retro series, but all of them are much more important to the video gaming than you are. Next, we'd have Ridley, and you are staying. If you don't stay, I will probably find you back in the story mode killing somebody. So, Ridley, really, I mean, this is the thing. It kind of came between Ridley and King K. Rool, and I think Ridley is bigger to this the Metroid series, and let's say King K. Rool is the Donkey Kong series. Just also, you have Ridley's whole history in Smash, and I would definitely keep Ridley much more than keep King K. Rool. As far as Robin, keeping Robin. The thing about Robin is that he plays differently than many of the other Fire Emblem casts. He seems to be more of a magic user and a mage, and this is what I'd like to see from Fire Emblem characters: is not many of them playing the exact same. What's basically going to keep him there is basically that little book in the mage that he does, the magic. It's just something different than just another sword fighter. We have plenty of those. We don't need more sword fighters in this game. Or at least not sword fighters that play the Fire Emblem sword. You're going to have something else different. Rob, you are out. I know you have a pretty interesting move set, but it's kind of in the Game and Watch. Interesting move set, nice to have. But at the end of the day, it's just you're no longer relevant, and we kind of have the retro characters already. You have a Pac-Man, you have a Simon, you have a Ryu. There's just no reason to say that you're giving respect to the older characters at this point. It's just overbloating of older characters. So, Rob, you are out. And unfortunately, Rosalina, you are out too. I mean, it just seems as if Nintendo's not going to have you break away from the Peach or the Daisies. I do like the idea that you're there for Luma and for everything else, but it just doesn't seem as though they're going to do more for you. They're not going to do, like, let's say for you, like what Luigi got. Luigi had his own game in Luigi's Mansion. Wario has his own game series in WarioWare. You don't have anything that really separates you that much outside of the gameplay style. And Mario seems to already have their main five. Or seems like what they're going with here. And that's just basically going to be a spoiler here, but I am going to put Wario in there as well. So Mario, that's the ending of their series for me. They have their five. They have Mario, Luigi, they have the brothers, the villain, the princess, and the wild card Wario. That's going to be my main five. They all seem to have characters, and they've all seemed to branch off and become their own. They're not just people that just showed up in maybe just one game. And for a cast of, how many Mario characters they are in this game, I think they're going to have more than any other franchise, basically as it should be. Yeah, I would definitely have those five in there. As far as Roy, unfortunately, you are gone as well. It's another swordsman, kind of like Chrom. Many of them play the same. It's just kind of the issue with many of these Fire Emblem characters is that they play very, very similar to each other, and they really just can't. I mean, that's for a series that's it's getting more and more popular, but just having a series that you just have so many clone characters, it just does not work. Especially when they all play the same and have the exact same weapons. Neither of them, unlike some of the characters in Mario, have really come out on their own and become their own guy outside of just it's another Fire Emblem character with a sword. Sheik, and this is why I got Green Ninja out. I will link you back with Zelda. Having having the ability to transform back, and I know it doesn't really fit the Breath of the Wild and some of the newer games, but I do like that. I do like that idea of just being able to switch in and switch back, and kind of allow that play style to stay. Because I really do like Sheik's play style, that very fast and swift play style that you really didn't see in other games, and kind of linking that back. So I've already shown that Zelda, you are going. Zelda, you're clearly, obviously going to stay. Shulk, Xenoblade seems to be getting more and more popular. Shulk, you are staying. There's no real reason to basically get rid of you at this point, especially as it's getting more popular and as time goes on, more and more associated with the Nintendo series or as a Nintendo brand, kind of like Bayonetta, where the original probably not thought of as a Nintendo brand, but as time moves on, they're kind of growing into the fold. Next, you have Snake. Snake is in. No real reason to get rid of Snake. Snake just fits in pretty well here. Again, another guy who comes from his own game, from his own series, has a ton of things you can do with it, and his moveset is a little bit different than, let's say, Mega Man's or Inklings. Inklings is more of, dealing with small grenades. Mega Man's throwing pellets, kind of has a charged gun. It's kind of a mix between a Samus and possibly a mix between Samus and some of these others. And then finally, you got Snake. Both working out pretty well. They all play a little differently. All have franchise and series that you can work out with. So Yeah, I'm kind of odd about having a lot of these gunners here, but I think this one will work out in the end. I'm gonna stick with Snake. Sonic, good character. You're definitely staying. Definitely a big one here. It's your Sonic's main rival. I mean, say what you want about, let's say, Crash Bandicoot in the later 90s. In the late 90s, it was Sonic. It's Sonic. He's always being compared to Mario. You know, as bad as some of his games have been in the past, I don't know, 5 or 6 years of Sonic Boom, and how little new content since they're still talking about Sonic Mania, which is nothing much more than a game that praises off nostalgia. In fact, which is odd, is the last couple of big Sonic games, I would say from even Generations, kind of was built off of nostalgia. You know, colors maybe. It's kind of just building off nostalgia, but people still keep eating it up because it just happens to be Sonic. Sonic has just kind of become on its own. It's its own culture at this point. The fandom is just crazy. Yeah, Sonic is staying. Same thing with Toon Link. Toon Link is staying, which means that unfortunately Young Link is getting out of here. Toon Link here is really just more for aesthetic. Um, I really like the aesthetic of Toon Link. Toon Link to me fits does a little bit better for the series and franchise than, let's say, having Young Link. It's just a Young Link, doesn't really look all that different. And Toon Link, I just see a little bit of a better aesthetic. If you're going for that Young Link archetype, that that he's a little swordsman because you don't really have that as a character in general. That tiny swordsman, you could say Meta Knight, but these two play completely different. Meta Knight's just flying half the time. Wii Fit Trainer, you're definitely gonna stay. Both of the Wii's. I mean, the Wii does deserve it. I mean, I know the fact that Wii Fit is going to get less and less relevant as time, but the Wii basically saved Nintendo from getting ripped apart for the past three console generations because it was a long time since the N64 came out, the Nintendo consoles just getting beat over and over and over and over and over again, and these two were some of the main reasons that got Nintendo back on the feet and started showing that Nintendo was a powerhouse again. And it's basically that fitness trainer right up there, which is getting people into the fitness, and then those Mii's, which definitely have customizables. And I mean, I just do like Wii Fit trainers. The way the Wii Fit trainer is basically, at least it seems like the attitude of the Wii Fit trainer, and as well as her aesthetic, just looks different than some of these others. Wolf, you're gone. Problem is that with Star Fox, I just don't see you as that main antagonist. I see you fit the best for Smash, but it's just not fitting in the same way as, let's say, Fox and Falco have. Now, maybe I'll give possibly Falco some of Wolf's movesets, but at the end of the day, Wolf, nah, you're just not large enough, and neither is the Star Fox series in general. I think it deserves two because of its history of what it's done in Smash, but not a third. Not when Star Fox is barely barely relevant in a while. Possibly maybe bringing Crystal or something like that, but definitely not Wolf. Yoshi, you're definitely staying in. Yeah, it's your own character from your own series at this point. Broke away from just saving Baby Mario, so definitely stay in. For Zero Suit, I'm gonna link to another character. You're gonna link with Samus. Possibly have some sort of move where you break off your armor and possibly go into Zero Suit Samus, kind of like Zelda. I feel like these two characters are basically the same. I mean, these two are basically the same characters at this point. Kind of like these two. Give them basically two move sets, and I think it would work out pretty well. I'm not going to do the same thing for Peach and Rosalina since they're just straight up different characters. They're not the same person. So I can't just do that with Peach and Rosalina. But I definitely can do that with Samus and Zero Suit. Basically, make these two better characters. So lessen up the character roster, but keep as much as you can. Hero, Oh boy. So now we're going on to some of the later characters in the game. Hero, you're basically Mario Party the character, but I cannot say I hate you. Just simply put, you do quite a bit for the game. You do quite a bit for the game. I mean, just that move set, having 11 different move sets. It's just vastly different from anybody else in the cast. It really shows on just how far you can go with just a single character, where you can just pull off magic bursts, you can pull off. It's literally like having a legitimate RPG character in a game as an avatar, and I think that is what works in a Smash game. I mean, when you see Hero, you just don't know what's going to happen next. As far as Banjo, I'm going to keep you in, and that's only by popular demand. Your moveset is not that impressive. Duck Hunt Dog has. I mean, if it becomes between Duck Hunt Dog and you, Banjo, I'm definitely going with Duck Hunt Dog in the end. Duck Hunt Dog just has a better move set than Banjo. I mean, it's nice to have, but I just don't really see a lot of inspiration from your move set. It's more of, I mean, when I'm thinking what happened is that when Sakurai made Hero, he made Hero because he loved the idea of having Hero in the game. That's why Hero has just this insane move set. When he has crits, he has about 1.5 million different move sets. It's like having an RPG. And with Banjo, it's like, hey, let's get these Western fans to shut up about Banjo because his move set is not that inspiring, or at least that game changing to Smash. I would definitely keep you in. Maybe do something with a different move set, and maybe do something a little bit more. Possibly make you a little bit different than, let's say, the Duck Hunt Dog. And I think you've done that, but definitely something else there. As far as Terry, you're out. We already have one fighting game character. We really didn't need another, and as it's just the Fatal Fury series, the King of Fighters series, it's just not as large as Street Fighter. I mean, never really liked the idea of having fighting game characters in a series and a cartoon fighter in general. I gave Ryu a pass. You're not that pass. You're not Ryu. You're not going to be here. Now for the final one. This is the character that got the most hate when she came out, was Byleth. And Byleth, you're going to be one of the only three Fire Emblem characters in the game. You fit in well, and at the end of the day, that's what it's all for. Byleth, I mean, you have reach with your sword whip. It's vastly different than some of the others. It can transform into an arrow. You're kind of like the Link of the Fire Emblem series, but you're not exactly Link, and that's good enough. That's good enough to stay. And Min Min, no one else is replacing Arms. You will be in for the next game as well, and that's basically going to be my character roster. We stuck with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I'm going to get to about 13 times 4. And probably go just check that out. I think it's probably about 52. So we got 52 characters in the game. You're going to have a couple alternate costumes. So 52 characters is pretty good here. Maybe possibly bringing about, I would say maybe about 8 newcomers. I think 8 newcomers is fine. Don't get too extravagant about it. And you'll be down from about 80 to about 60 characters. But once you bring it down to about 60 characters, these characters should either get moveset overhauls or be jam packed with some brand new features. And that's what I think we should probably be going here with Smash, rather than trying to make up with possibly coming out with Smash Ultimate 2, where we have 110 characters, but they all, like, many of them play the same. I mean, look at these Fire Emblem characters. I mean, yes, they're clearly the most guilty, but, look at some of these Mario characters. You're looking at some of these Mario characters that they're just completely obscure, and it takes away from some of them. Give Paper Mario possibly a shot. That might be the sixth Mario character, but I think it would do a little bit better than, let's say, Game & Watch, who has just not been obscure for years, and it would basically sell off of possibly Paper Mario. But, when you look at some of the retro characters as well, Mega Man, Pac Man, You got your retros, you got your sorties, you have some Fire Emblems, got quite a bit of heavies. Didn't take away too many heavies. The only one I really got rid of is K. Rool. You do have villains to work out with. So this is essentially my character lists and where we should be going with as far as Smash Six is concerned. Just write anything down in the comment section if you agree or disagree. And this is Blue Chaos out.